Hey everybody, welcome to another week on the show series. Missed last week, so I was at client events that were great. So I'm back to this week and I want to talk about something we haven't talked about in a while on this series, which is audio first podcasting. We've talked a lot about video and AI and matching your medium to your message and all sorts of other things. But I want to come back to audio podcasting because it's very powerful and very relevant, and it's changing rapidly, and the opportunities within audio podcasting are changing rapidly. So for you show hosts out there, or aspiring show hosts, or potential brands that are thinking about making an audio first show, I want to kind of give you some food for thought in the mid 2024 about how to strategically use audio first podcasting. And especially if you've been considering maybe over the next year or two how you could use it. Don't worry about the hammering that's going on if you can hear it. It's just some construction in our building. One of the things that I think is really exciting about audio first podcasting that's timeless but also relevant today is that audio first podcasting can be quick. Like, it's quick to record, it's quick to edit, it's quick to publish, but that doesn't mean it's cheap. And I think that's really special in today's world of quick usually means cheap. On social media, on video, live event, like whatever cheap version of media you might be tempted to make, usually whatever quick version, see what I did there? Whatever quick version of media you might be tempted to make, it often means like cheap. Like, we're compromising on quality, we're compromising on preparation, we're just doing this to fit the budget. And audio first podcasting is a little different, especially for chat shows or solo content. Obviously, you can spend tons of money on really high quality audio podcasting, but in the realm of chat shows and delivering straight to your audience information as an expert or as a brand or as a thought leader or as a conversation curator, all the things we talk about for show hosts on this series, on this channel, I want you to think of the unique opportunity that an audio first podcast provides you to make really good content cheaply and quickly. And in no way am I saying like, this is the quick hack. Like, good audio requires a lot of skill, both from the show host and the production team. But you can literally sit down and record something important, thoughtful, prepared, timely, and have it out to your audience way quicker than any other medium. And you can distribute that information on apps and on platforms that tons and tons and tons of people can access easily. You could put it on your YouTube channel as an audio only episode. You can obviously put it on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can put it on your website as an embedded audio file. Maybe you have a Substack newsletter. You can easily put it on there. Audio files are really easy to distribute, right? You can literally text them back and forth on phones. You can attach them on emails. There's something so versatile about audio first content that is why it's still relevant in 2024 after years and years and years of all this cool video first stuff happening on social media and all these different apps. Audio first content, when you're a trusted expert thought leader, have an existing audience, trying to get an important message out to people, and it needs to take a little longer than like a 1 minute, Instagram or TikTok. I want you to think about the power of an audio first podcast. Now, I'm kind of going to speak to someone who already has an existing podcast and how to strategically use that right now, but this can apply even if you don't have a show yet. I'm just going to assume that you already have a show and an audience, people wanting to listen to your updates or your knowledge or your takes on things. What audio first podcasting allows you to do still in 2024, and this has been true for a long time, but it's just as relevant today, is kind of be your own broadcaster, right? The word podcast comes from iPod and broadcast. If you've never heard the history of podcasts, that's some journalist way back in the early 2000s put that word together. So it's like you can have broadcast on your iPod. And that same concept is still true today. So if you have a message and an audience, and you know the audience wants to get that message quickly, efficiently, in quality, on demand, on a variety of devices, and it's a longer message than just like 1 minute on Instagram, a podcast is a really, really effective way to do that. especially if you have a big audience who's already subscribing and paying attention. obviously you can do this on email too. So I'm not saying audio podcasting is the only way to get out these kinds of messages or responses or reactions or important conversations, but audio is really special because you don't have your eyeballs engaged. So people can listen to you share this update, this message, this piece of content, this conversation while they're doing other stuff. And that's what's super special about audio podcasting. If someone has to read an email or watch a video or be on a social media app to get your message, there's oftentimes a barrier. They might postpone, they might miss it, the algorithm might not show it to them, they might route that email to spam. Like, we all know the many, many ways your messages cannot get to your intended audience. But with audio podcasting, there's still this kind of unbroken line where if a subscriber to your show opens up their podcast app, like they probably do every day, and sees you have a new episode, nothing is going to stop them from seeing that. The apps just aren't sophisticated enough to block that. There's no algorithm that's only showing people certain new episodes. It's going to show every new episode that on every show that you subscribe to. And so when we're talking about a loyal existing audience that needs to get a message from you that's longer form than just like a quick 1-minute read on an email or a quick 1-minute Instagram video, audio podcasting is super special and well suited to that. And some of the cool ways I've seen people use it recently is obviously in a political election year in the US, there's a lot of news all the time, but sometimes there's something big that's happening, like a verdict on a trial or, a Supreme Court decision. And I've seen really great podcasters who's cultivated audiences who really trust them and are looking for their, non-biased, informational, factual breakdown of something complex. The podcast is the perfect place to share that because it might take 20 or 30 minutes to explain something and people can listen, while they're making their breakfast or going to the gym. Another example that I've really noticed lately, how relevant audio podcasting is in 2024, especially if you've already been building the audience and they're hungry for your insights or conversations. One of my new favorite shows I've been listening to is Soul Boom, but hosted by Rainn Wilson. It's part of the Voicing Change Network, and it is great conversations about spirituality and happiness and etc. But what Rainn is doing, because he's cultivated great relationships and status through decades of good work as an actor and other projects he's been on, he can get access to people who many people cannot get access to for podcasting. Just this morning, I was listening to an episode he did with Anne Lamott. Like, I've never heard Anne Lamott on a podcast, and maybe that's just because she hasn't been in the podcast that I listen to, but it was so wonderful and refreshing and interesting to me to hear this conversation, this really famous writer and this really famous actor having this really interesting conversation about something they both cared deeply about, and it felt so timely and relevant to 2024, and they've both been around for decades, well-known, beloved for their work. But something felt so fresh and important about the conversation they were having on the Soul Boom podcast in June of 2024 that was timeless and also very timely. And I think that when all these new technologies and platforms and opportunities are coming through, and we're talking about how important YouTube is, that podcast does happen to be on YouTube as well, so it's not like they're not there. But I think what I want you to remember about audio podcasting right now is that it is still in this really singular, super special slot in people's attention grabbing world of being able to keep someone's attention for a long time, like 20, 30, 40, 60 minutes, and deliver important content with context and quality and richness of perspective. And if you have been building an audience, they are getting the message. Like, they are seeing the notification, they are clicking play. And that is super special in today's world. And so, sure, I'm saying this to encourage you to start a podcast if you are in that situation and you're like, yeah, I do have a lot of people who actually really do want to be getting my content, my messages, my conversations, and writing is taking too long, or, video isn't feasible. I need to be doing this on audio. Like, it's not too late. And if you already have a podcast and you've kind of been wondering, like, is this even relevant anymore? Like, how should I be using the audio channel versus like going all in on YouTube? Here's some food for thought. There's something really powerful about having a channel straight to people's ears who are interested in what you have to say and who value you, because you really are the companion to their lives when you're in their ears. And the not having the distraction of video kind of gets you in on a wavelength that most people don't have access to. So there's some food for thought for you today. I feel like I'm a little bit pot stirring from what I typically am talking about lately with video and AI. But audio podcasting is very relevant and very useful. And if you can see exactly how to use it in a strategic way, it's kind of unparalleled. Obviously, if you have questions and you're like, what's the strategic way for me to use it? Leave a comment in the video. I'm happy to reply. We could get on a call. Obviously, subscribe to the channel. I'm bringing you more tips. And thank you for watching.